Hotness and Sweetly. And guess what? We are in what? Where are we at, Sweetly? The Midway Community Kitchen in Chapel Hill.
Yes, we are.
Okay, audience, I know. Thank you so much for joining us in our Restaurant Magic show. We're so happy that you're here. I'm the Hotness, and I'm joined with my co-host,
Sweetly.
Hey now. Hey, Sweetly. And for those of you who may not know, we're just foodies. We just love to eat. I mean, I don't know what it is about us, but we just have to be involved in all things food. We've been eating for years, so guess what? We're experts.
We say so.
Absolutely. And on our show, we like to highlight restaurants, caterers, food trucks, culinary artists, chefs, sous chefs, farmers, anything associated with food. We are there with a smiley face, and we're just eating everything. And before we get started with the show, audience, I want to let the audience know they can send us any feedback or show ideas at restaurantmagicfoodies@gmail.com. And today joining us is Miss Chef Teresa Fox of the Midway Community Kitchen in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. And we have been in her kitchen just tearing it up. Sweetly thought she was going to actually burn it down before we got here, and thankfully it's still standing. We didn't burn anything down, right, Sweetly?
We did good. Yes, we did.
We did very well. But Chef Teresa Fox, thank you for allowing us to be in your kitchen. You and Marilyn, I mean, you guys are just so awesome. We had a wonderful class of people, and honestly, I felt bad because I wanted them all to disappear because I wanted to eat all the food. That's how selfish I am sometimes, Chef Teresa. I'm just bad.
I think there was enough. You could have eaten even more.
This is true. There's plenty of leftover, audience. So be sure to check out Midway Community Kitchen and connect with Chef Teresa Fox. But welcome you so much to the show. We're just so happy to have you here.
Yes, at Restaurant Magic, we are so happy to have you here. And we have enjoyed the culinary experience. I mean, it was hands-on. We were cooking. We were doing the thing. And she was right there with us, very patient and kind. You know, she didn't bust us out and tell us to put it down and all those words that you see them doing on the Food Network.
Yeah, Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah, it wasn't no Gordon Ramsay thing here.
Yeah, she was sweet as pie, audience.
But I think she could be Gordon.
Oh, absolutely. She scared me sometimes. I was like laying low. But we're talking too much. We're not even allowing Chef Teresa Fox to speak. We had so much fun. But Chef Teresa, tell the audience about you, yourself, and how you got started. We just love you.
Well, thank you so much. It was really a lot of fun tonight. It really was. And I wasn't expecting you to be here, so it was even more fun. And you guys just kind of blended in and did your thing, and you were not in the way at all. I mean, it just ran very smoothly. And I have to say, you were pretty good.
She's talking about Sweetly, y'all. Be specific.
Oh, I'm sorry, we're not on camera.
Chef
That's
Teresa,
right.
be specific. Okay.
She is talking about Sweetly because, you know, the Hotness just likes to eat. But Sweetly was in there doing exactly what Chef Teresa commanded. So, yes, good job, Sweetly. I mean, you don't have to make the Hotness feel bad. But Chef Teresa.
Yes, you did well, too.
Thank you. I was a cheerleader, audience. But how did you get started in this business? Because you are so articulate and you're a great instructor for all your apt pupils. So how did you get started in this business, especially as a female?
Well, thank you very much for that compliment. I've been in the business for a few years, like 30-some, and I started my career in New York City when I was younger, but I really took many different directions in the culinary world. I started out as a food stylist, food recipe tester, before I even became a chef.
What's a food stylist? I'm sorry.
A food stylist is someone who designs food for photography and commercials. So all that pretty stuff that you see is someone like me goes in there and makes it look pretty with an art director who makes sure that the parsley leaf doesn't, it has to do this way and that way. I mean, it's very specific work, and sometimes it can take 2 or 3 hours to do one shot just because of the way the lighting and whatever. So that's how I got my start, because I was a design major in college. And so when I went to New York, and I was sort of after I went through my phase of trying to become an actress and a designer in this theater. Anyway, so that's a long story right there. And then I just kind of moved on into different directions. I had my own bakery at one point in Brooklyn. I had a catering business. I did some food styling, or some personal chefing. And I didn't really become a certified chef until I was 42.
Wow.
And I decided it was time to go, and that was the period where if you didn't have that kind of degree, you really weren't going to make it in the food industry, because that was like at the end of the 90s, and everybody was, really, the Food Network, which is where I worked for 3 years, it was just necessary to have that degree. So I went back to school, got my degree, started working in New York, worked in some restaurants, had a very professional and very lucrative catering business with one client for almost 8 years.
Wow.
And it was a really fun job. It was a very small post-production company, and we created food for his clients that came in and prepared breakfast, lunch, and dinner for them, and anything that we wanted. So I had a small staff of 7, but it was very fun, and I was able to really create and use some of my background and experience that I got from a lot of the chefs at the Food Network. And then in 2008, that business fell apart, like so many other businesses, and I decided to move to North Carolina.
Yay!
North
Carolina.
Yeah, so anyway, that's what I did, and I came down here, and I didn't really know what I was going to do, but I thought, well, I've had a lot of experience, and so maybe teaching would be a good another route to take. And I was lucky to get a job with a new culinary school that opened up in Durham, and I started out as an adjunct instructor and then became full-time. But then I also, in New York, became a sommelier. I got very interested in wine and became an advanced level sommelier. So I kind of like to look at my food and wine as being the art, both of them together, and I sometimes can't decide which one I like best.
Okay, audience. I mean, she said a fancy word there, sweetly. What was it?
Sommelier.
Okay, Chef Teresa Fox, what is that? Because, we had an argument in the car, and I was just like, what is that, sweetly? What did you say?
It's something to do with wine.
But I'm quite sure Chef Teresa has something more fancier to say.
To elaborate.
Well, not really. When people ask me that, I always say I'm a professional wino.
Okay. I like that.
More technically, without getting too descriptive. The wine world is very specific, and people who are sommeliers we study to understand the grapes, the varietals, where they come from, and how they're made, and it's just really someone who is very informed about wine and winemaking. And when you go to a restaurant, sometimes there's a sommelier there. It used to be very fancy restaurants. Now they're hiring them in many other restaurants because people want to know more about wine, and they get very intimidated by looking at a wine list and saying, I don't know what that is, I don't know what Chardonnay is, I don't know what Chablis is. And so a sommelier tries to help the customer walk through that and educate them as much as they can at the restaurant table.
Now, is that something that you're taught? Is that a gift?
No, you're taught.
Okay.
I spent 12 years studying, and I still study. It's one of those things that never stops because the wine industry keeps changing and changing. And you do, if you don't use it, you lose it kind of thing. And so, if I don't teach a lot of wine classes, and I'm qualified to teach, to be a sommelier at this point, and it's a real good love for me. I don't know. I could go on.
I know she can, audience, but we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with Miss Chef Teresa Fox. We're trying not to eat up all her food, but no promises. But we'll be right back.
Hey girl, that's a nice t-shirt you're wearing. Where did you get it?
I got it from TeamJesusClothing.com.
Really? I like the messaging and the colors. They're so vibrant.
Yes, TeamJesusClothing.com has a lot of t-shirts and hoodies with encouraging messages. They have styles for both men and women.
Wow, thanks for letting me know. I'm going to TeamJesusClothing.com to place my order now.
Yes, definitely go to TeamJesusClothing.com and be sure to check out my favorite shirt designs, Team Jesus and Won't He Do It?
I can't wait. TeamJesusClothing.com, here I come.
Hi, this is Jimmy Davies, owner of Every Dot Black, and I want to remind each of you to be sure to tune in every Monday for live cyber radio and streaming television on 881thetruth.com, a global experience. That's where you will find the Every Dot Black channel, where we have shows relating to all aspects of entrepreneurship, including the Leon Isaac Kennedy Show, every Monday on 881thetruth.com, a global experience. If you're thinking about going in business or you're in business, then you really don't want to miss it.
All right, audience, we're back. We're back with Chef Teresa Fox. And again, it has been a pleasure being in her kitchen. But I'm looking at her history here, and I had a question about one of her adventures. There was a restaurant that you worked at called Farm to Table Restaurant in Wake Forest?
Actually, the name was Fig
Wow.
Cafe and Wine Bar.
Okay.
And it was my sister's and mine.
Okay.
And it was a farm-to-table restaurant.
Well, what does farm to table mean?
Well, back in those days, it was a sort of not really passing, but it was like really eating fresh food.
Okay.
And we tried to purchase locally as much as possible, and we tried to keep it
the
seasonal
community.
for the community. And that's really what farm to table is. It's not using processed food. Everything in the kitchen is what we call scratch. It means it's made on the premises, which is sort of my philosophy about eating. Unfortunately, it was not the right time in Wake Forest for that, and so we had to let it go, but it was a great learning experience in many ways for my sister and I, personally and professionally.
Sometimes you're just ahead of the curve, and people catch up later.
Well, we weren't really ahead of the curve, but I think we were for Wake Forest.
Exactly. I mean, and that's commendable for you and your sister. I mean, I'm looking at all the places that you have gained your experience. You went to the French Culinary School in New York City, American Culinary Federation, CEC, certified executive chef. She can cook, sweetly, okay?
I know.
Okay. And what else?
And look, I know what WSET means.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
What does it mean?
Spirit Education Trust.
She knows, audience. Sweetly's been doing her homework, folks. Chef Teresa Fox. Chef Teresa Fox, how did you get all these skills? I mean, what's going on? I mean, you have a God-given talent.
Yeah, and you're smart.
Well, I appreciate all those compliments. They're awesome. I think I'm just driven.
Yes.
Okay.
And I love knowledge. And when I get to, and I'm very ADD. When I get to a certain point, I got to move on. I can't stay in one place too long. And I think it's just, I love what I do. I'm passionate about it. I'm passionate about the food and wine industry. And food is an experience. Wine is an experience. Cooking is a life skill. And I just am really, I don't know, when I get tired of doing what I'm doing, I just say, okay, what's next?
Yeah, you go on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. So, tell me about your family. I know, with you being so busy, I mean, do you have any children? Are you married?
Well, I'm not married anymore.
Okay.
I've been single for quite a long time, so if you know some young gents, just send them my way.
Same. Don't be trying to get all the men, Chef Teresa. I need some of the men too.
Well, maybe
Two ladies seeking Boaz.
Well, maybe we should just go hang out together.
Absolutely.
Okay. I go for the more older crowd than you do, so we won't be in competition.
I know. I love it. We definitely have to hook up and just go out and hit the streets and just meet some new fellas, right, Sweetly?
Okay. Look, you said you had.
I have 2 children.
Okay.
I have a son and a daughter. My son lives in New York still.
All
My
right.
daughter is currently in LA. And so it's perfect for me because I feel like I'm really in the triangle.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, where I can go visit them.
Either
and
way.
I'm on my way to LA to visit her in a couple of weeks.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And
I know she's really proud of her mom.
Absolutely.
You know, I'm proud of her and my son. They are really awesome children. They've done really well. My daughter is a floral designer in LA, blossoming
Wow.
floral designer. She just started her own business.
Wow.
And she's doing
Awesome.
very well.
This is amazing because you're so creative, and I'm always amazed to see how the genetics pass down to your kids. But your daughter, she's still doing the exact same thing you're doing, but just in a different
medium.
Yeah, exactly. How does that work? I love it. But
Good genes passed on.
Exactly. I wanted to ask you, what was your earliest childhood memory concerning like food and how you knew like this is what I want to do?
Well, I didn't know I wanted to do it as a profession until I got into my 20s. But my earliest were my grandmother, who was German, and she was an awesome cook, but she was a more awesome baker. And I remember sitting in her kitchen on the stool next to her stove, watching her make these incredible apple strudels, and we called them pummels, which are like a fried donut.
Oh.
A very German thing. Maybe it's even Russian. I don't know. It's somewhere in there. And I remember just going into our house all the time and smelling the food and going there and always having this fabulous layout of food. And my grandfather, who was a harpist, he also was a winemaker. He made wine in his cellar.
Oh,
Get out!
Get out with Concord grapes. I mean, not even like really good grapes to make wine. But I remember as a kid, we were allowed a little sip during the holidays, and he made plum wine and he made some like sherry wines. Those were it. And then my father, who was not a really great cook, but he was an experimental cook. And my mother, I'm sorry, Mom, but she, God bless her, she's passed away, but she was not a great cook, and she admitted it to the day she passed away. And she said, I don't care about food. I only eat it. I only eat to live. Where my dad was probably the more creative of us. And then I just went from there. I went to New York and I started baking chocolate chip cookies for all my friends, and then it just tumbled from there.
Just blew up from the chocolate chip cookies. These must have been some pretty good chocolate chip cookies for your friends to be like, hey girl, you need to do something because these cookies are the bomb.
They were pretty good. And I make a mean biscotti too.
And that is?
Biscotti.
Yeah.
Oh, biscotti. Okay, biscotti. Okay, I got it now.
Chef Teresa's using these fancy words.
No. Tomato.
Well, the Italians would crucify me if I didn't say it correctly.
Oh,
exactly.
Biscotti. Okay, we got it. And so how did you get connected with the Midway Community Kitchen?
After I taught culinary school, I started working as an independent chef, working with different people, and I work in Cary as well, which is currently my primary place at Whisk, which is a retail a cookware shop.
Yes,
and they have a kitchen. Yeah, they have a kitchen
the
in the back.
beautiful appliances, gorgeous and huge. We have to check that place out.
Well, I teach there a lot. I teach there 8 to 10 classes a month.
Oh wow!
And then I met Kathy back in the fall, and we started chatting, and she said, well, would you like to? I said, do you need instructors? And so I started teaching here, and I don't do a lot yet because I'm so busy with my other stuff, but we're trying to work more, and this is not my, I don't know a lot of people in Chapel Hill and the surrounding area. I have a big audience in North Raleigh and Cary now, so I have a lot of repeat business. But here I'm trying to build my business with, customers who come in, like the one couple came in, they were here before. And so it's going to take some time to build that business.
Well, I think you're going to be successful because I had a ball today.
I'm so good. You guys were fun. You were so much fun.
And I was looking here, you said that you wanted to get more creative and start doing maybe some personal things. Like, are you talking about going in people's homes and showing them and telling them how to cook and how health-wise maybe, or just different things to cook?
I will go into people's home and teach them how to cook privately. I like doing that. And it really depends on the client and what their needs are. When I say healthy cooking, I cook healthy. I don't eat processed food at all. Okay. I eat scratch cooking almost entirely for the last 20 years of my life. And that's how I want to teach. Am I gluten-free? Am I vegan or keto or any of that? No. I can, if you want to do that, I can certainly help you do that. But for me, it's eating fresh food, cooking it well. It doesn't have to be fancy.
Right.
It can be healthy because it's fresh and it doesn't have any of the excessive sodium that you get in processed food, which is like a big killer.
Right.
Or sugar content or all those other additives that they put in. So that's how I like to cook. But I am opening up my own studio, my culinary studio.
What's the name of it?
Fox. My last name is Fox.
Right. Yeah.
Culinary studio. So I'm working on the branding right now. I do have an Instagram under Fox Culinary Studio. And I have a location where I can work out of now. It'll be up and ready probably midsummer, somewhere in there. I'll still continue to cook in other places because I like to meet lots of different people, and I know that business will take a while for me to really build a client base, but and I will come here, and I do a lot of charity work. I will auction my time off for my big charity is Make-A-Wish Foundation. I do a lot with them because I really like teaching children too, and I like children. So.
Well, listen, audience, we're going to go for a commercial, and when we come back, we're going to ask Chef Teresa Fox, was there a time that she ever wanted to throw in the towel? And also ask her, what would she tell any inspiring entrepreneur coming up in the chef world? We'll be right back.
When will I get married? Waiting can never be easy. Whether it's waiting on a taxi or a job promotion, it can be difficult. When it comes to waiting on Mr. Right, aka Boaz, it becomes even more challenging to wait while you're single. In this lighthearted book, Where's Boaz? I don't know, I'm tired of kissing frogs too. Best-selling author Nevada York offers suggestions based on the Bible's great love story of Ruth and Boaz and from her own experience of waiting on God. You will learn the attributes of Ruth and use the Ruth reality chart to do a self-check on your own attributes. Nevada also shares the 10-step plan that Ruth followed to win her Boaz. Obedience and being a blessing plays a key role. Trust the Lord and His timing. Make your season of singleness Ruth-defining. Order Nevada York's latest book, Where's Boaz? I don't know, I'm tired of kissing frogs too. Available on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle.
Hello, audience, and we're back. The hotness and sweetly. We are at Midway Community Kitchen. And we're having so much fun. Forgive us, but we're just having a ball. Anyway, we're here with Chef Teresa Fox. And before we went to break, we wanted to ask her how, first of all, she would tell an entrepreneur how they would keep going and striving. And was there ever a time that she wanted to throw in the towel?
I think it takes a certain personality first. And I think you have to have the passion and drive. The passion is there. Because there's no glory in cooking. There's no real financial gains if you're in a kitchen. And having taught culinary students and watched them move on and get jobs and how hard it is. And when they were my students, I said, if you don't have the passion for it, then it won't work. Because that's what your drive is, the fact that you love to get that applause, okay? And basically that applause is when someone says, oh my gosh, this is so fabulous, teach me how to do it, or I want to do it myself. And that's part of it. And the other part is, I think, well, I don't know, I guess that's pretty much it. It's just drive. And being creative, when you think you've hit a wall, stand back from the wall and take a look at what you've done and say, okay, where do I want to go? And I don't want to say you have a written down business plan, okay, of your future, but have an idea of what you want to achieve. Where do you think you might want to go at some point? At some point, I wanted to be famous. I wanted a cookbook. I'm in the process of putting together a cookbook. So, it's one of those things that's on my bucket list.
Yes.
So if you have that interest, just put it down and say, I will get to it, because sometimes life gets in the way. Just keep working, keep yourself open. Don't be afraid when you fail, because failure is really progress.
It is. I think failure has a bad rap, but like you said, it's just another form of progress. It doesn't mean you stop, you just keep going. Show failure who's the boss, right, Chef Teresa?
That's right. Who's the boss?
I agree with that. I agree with that hotness. That is so true.
And so was there a time you wanted to throw in the towel with your career?
Oh gosh, so many times. You should have asked me this morning. No. Yeah, there were many times when you just feel like, because it's physically exhausting, and like I say, the financial rewards. I mean, as I've gotten older, the financial rewards are better, obviously, but when you first start out, they're not there. And there were times when I was raising my kids as a single mom. It was very tough to figure out how I could do what I really loved to do and be home for them as well. So that was a struggle. And there were days when you would just go, oh, what am I doing this for? And then you look at those 2 little eyes or 4 little eyes and you go, I'm doing it for them, and I'm doing it for me. It was like, combination of all of it. And, you know, sometimes you go to bed and you just say, I'll wake up tomorrow and I'll take a view of where I'm at and, you know, maybe do some meditation. I'm very much a yoga person. Yoga has really helped me get through some of the physical and emotional and stressful times. And just take a break from it. Say, all right, I'm not going to do it today.
Cool.
You know?
Well, that's awesome, and we appreciate that. Look, listeners, we're going to kind of lighten up the situation here. We're going to ask Chef Fox, like, what is her favorite dish?
Yeah, what do you like to eat?
You know, I get asked that question all the time, and my answer is always the same. I'm a mood eater.
Okay.
I'm a seasonal eater. When I'm ready to eat, I think, what is my mood today? And I think a lot of people are that way, unless they have this. Some people eat like spaghetti on Tuesday and meatloaf on Wednesday. I mean, you know, they have certain things that we all kind of grew up that way in some respects.
A meal plan. Would you call that a meal plan?
Kind of a meal plan, yeah. Okay. A rotational one. It may happen once every 2 weeks, sort of like a school, you know. But I really am a mood eater. Depends on what I'm in the mood for, and my body dictates to what I should eat. I'm on a binge now where I don't really eat a lot of carbs, but I've been on this binge. I've had to have carbs. My body says you need carbs.
Okay.
You know,
so you're listening to your body.
I'm listening to my body, and then, you know, after a few days I say, okay, don't listen to it anymore because it's going to start setting in the lower half. So
for sure.
And then I force myself to say, okay, salads are really good too. But, you know, in the wintertime it's really about hearty, good comfort food. In the summer, it's really about light eating. And I think, you know, my body, like I say, dictates to me what I want to eat.
I mean, that's awesome. And audience, are you listening? You just got to be in tune with your body, be like Chef Teresa, and just, you know, just listen to your body and do what's right and do what's healthy.
Exercise too.
Oh, and exercise. That's one of my least favorite parts. I have to do better. But before we let you go, do you mind share with the audience again how they can follow up with you and get in touch with you, your social media, website information, and the name of your new studio that you have going?
Well, right now my website is under construction. So because I have so many different aliases out there, I'm trying to get away from those. The best way to reach me now is to follow me on Instagram, which is Fox Culinary Studios. That's my only social media that I have with that name right now. I'm working on it, and I will have a Facebook page coming up with that as well. I'm trying to figure out how to, social media and I have to hire someone to do all this for me because it's, you know, over the head. But there will be one called Fox Culinary Studio, and I will have a website under the same name coming up. And
awesome.
Do Twitter, and I have a constant contact newsletter that's going to launch next month, and it will be under Fox Culinary Studio as well. And
wonderful.
I'm just looking to get people's email address, send them to me.
Okay.
The newsletter will be about recipes. It'll talk about chef's tips. There might be some videos on there if I get really good at that.
Absolutely.
So I'm really trying to buff that up a little bit.
And you will, absolutely. Fox Culinary Studios. We can't wait to see what she does, right, Sweetly?
I'm excited about it. Yes, I am.
Well, I'm going to show you just one thing, and then I'm going to let you go because I know you have to. But this has been my sort of logo for many years. A friend of mine who I went to, we knew each other since we were in 8th grade, and she passed away last year, and she designed this for me.
Oh, wow. Okay, audience, you can't see this, but it's a picture of a beautiful fox.
Yeah.
And is the fox pouring a glass of wine?
Of course.
The whole bottle up, like, turn it up.
Absolutely.
And I'm assuming that's because, her last name is Fox.
I mean,
so
that's
just
so
awesome.
Yeah. See, this is why I keep Sweetly around. She put it together.
She's smart.
You are doing it tonight, Sweetly. I didn't catch that. I was so, engrossed in the picture of the fox. I didn't connect Teresa Fox. But
wow,
I
really?
know.
Are you all right now?
I need more food.
Look, audience, we've just been having so much fun. But listen, we're going to get ready to wrap it up. And again, Chef Teresa, it has been a pleasure.
It's been so much fun. Thank you both. I had a great time tonight.
Wonderful. And we look forward to hearing about you. We're going to see you again, for sure. And we haven't forgotten about that dinner you said, too.
Okay.
Yeah, we haven't forgotten about that dinner.
Not to worry.
That dinner is legit, audience.
All right, audience, it's about that time. The
Hotness.
and sweetly we have to go. But again, this has been Restaurant Magic with Hotness and Sweetly, checking out what Midway Community Kitchen starring Chef Teresa Fox life has been all about. Thank you.